Hello everybody and welcome back to Europa, where last episode we managed to defeat the Pleathanists in the Religious Wars, and now we're working on recovering from the Religious Wars a little bit, and that's going to take some time. We have these separatists up over here. These are not actual separatists, these are the guys that ran away when we annexed this, but they exist, and we'll need to do something about them eventually. We can send a missionary out to Nea Alexandria, which we will definitely look to do. That'll be absolutely wonderful. And we could select an icon, but we need to reform the clergy first. So that is something that we will definitely do. So next up, what do we need to do? Well, we need to establish a militia, which is going to mean that we need to have an army equal or larger than 10,000. Currently, it's 8,000. And we need 5,000 to replenish. So, I was talking last time about how we might not actually need to expand the draft. I think we probably should do it nevertheless. We really need the manpower. We really need the manpower. We are currently drifting net negative on administrative burden, but only barely, mostly due to overextension. And we can't be coring this right now because it's occupied. So we need to expand the draft. I'm going to do that. That gives us a bunch of administrative burden. It's going to be drifting net downward very, very, very slowly right now. But we're going to replenish these guys. All of this manpower is going to flow directly into the army. And that's absolutely understood. Now, we have a mill tech that we can take here. Infantry cavalry shock, supply limit, and new infantry. We should absolutely take that at this exact moment. So we're going to move to one of these. Generally, I prefer offensive over defensive pips. So we would generally... This is going to be kind of the same either way. Very awkward. Very, very awkward indeed. So, which would we actually like here? These are very mediocre on their pips. Very mediocre. I think we're going to have to just pick one. They're kind of the same. So I'm going to go with this one, and I'm very, very not okay with that, but it's probably better than what we had before, at least. So let's proceed here, and that'll be absolutely fine. The next question, of course, is a revolt. Very rude. I apologize. I was slightly distracted there. The phone rang and I had to put it on mute. There we go. Okay, so that is done. We've got 10 local unrest or -5 local unrest for 20 autonomy in New Alexandria. What is the current autonomy there? It's very high as is. Let's just take the autonomy hit. And that'll be fine. It's currently net going up anyway, mostly due to our administrative burden, which, by the way, we can start expanding our bureaucracy fairly soon, but we need manpower for that. So that is understood. We're going to, okay, dire famine, 25 devastation, and some unrest, 2 war exhaustion, or 25 ducats. I'm going to take the war exhaustion. That should be ticking down since we're at peace. Actually, it's ticking up right now due to the religious wars, which is not over because we need the religion to no longer be Hellenic. Okay, we're working on that. We are actively converting these two. So they'll be done soon enough. And we can see that that progress is definitely progressing nicely. So that is understood. Now, I'm going to go up and crush these guys because we need to get this overextension dealt with. That was a very big lag spike. Okay, what do we got going on here? 6 religious regiments down here, or rampant zealots giving us some penalties for 10 years. But 3% missionary strength. I'm actually going to take that. That's going to give us 3% missionary strength, which means that this will be done on 26 December. So that's fantastic. Okay, so we're going to get these out of here. That is now stack wiped. Perfect. And we're going to take this over, which will allow us to now core this. So we can start to core that. That'll be great. And we can seize some land right now, which I do want to do. But do we want to seize this from the Barbaroi? or from the regular people? How much is actually controlled by the Barbaroi here? So the Barbaroi councils have an influence level of 15. I don't think they have any land right now. Or if they do, it's extreme. No, they control 0.9% of our land. So seizing 5% of land from them is useless. We want to do a regular land seize, and are the Barbaroi exempted from seize land here? I'm going to make a save and we'll find out. So they should be, right? Because there's a separate option to seize land from them. So here's the idea, is that we seize land. The Barbaroi opinion here should not matter. Everyone else is high enough up to not cause any rebellion. So if there's no rebellion here, which there shouldn't be, then we shouldn't have to revert to that save. But the question is, are the Barbaroi exempted from seize land? Which I believe they should be. Let's see. They are. Perfect. Okay, so that looks great. At this point, I want to move our troops back to our capital, like so. Okay, unchecked religious strife in Nea Alexandria. Once again, I want to take the penalty here. That local missionary strength is huge. So that's now progressing much more quickly. And that's great. We're very, very happy to see that. So if we were to try to convert these, we cannot send a missionary to a colony. Unless the province belongs to a trade company region, a colonist will convert the inhabitants to the true faith. Okay. So what about Pythagorea? Because we're coring it. Gotcha. Okay, so that looks good. Manpower is still a very considerable concern for us. No doubt about that. We're gaining just the base amount of manpower right now, and that is a concern. Inquisitors to hold trials by fire. Self-appointed inquisitors dispatched by the church have been sent to clear out and purge the heretics and complacent alike from Romania. Recently, this punishment has... Punishment. I'm not used to seeing typos in this. Okay. Has taken many forms, but the most common remains death by fire. A list of culprits is brought to the Inquisitions. Out of these, which one deserves true justice first? The merchant and the Clergy would gain 5 loyalty. We'd gain some unrest in Eros. Okay. The poet's lust. Basically the same thing here, but a little bit less unrest. That would hurt our prestige annually, which is probably fine. I mean, our current prestige is dropping as it is. Or we could say no one will burn today, and we would fight 6 religious regiments. I'm going to take the prestige hit, I think. There we go. So that'll be fine, and the religious wars will be over very shortly here. Theoretically, anyway. Okay, so we're going to have this converted. There we go. And we had some native assimilation. They're going to love being Greek. This is true. Liturgical reform. The Eastern Orthodox Church is the one holy Catholic and apostolic church established by Jesus Christ our Lord and his apostles. However, our family is large and diverse. Our patriarch is proposing some reforms to our liturgy that will bring our form closer to the other churches. Didn't we see this event? I think we did. So let's investigate patriarch authority. Missionary strength plus 0.6%. Clericoid influence and Orthodox provinces would give local unrest -1 and more manpower. High patriarch authority will decrease local unrest and increase the number of recruits joining the army. Okay. Let's support the reform. That'll boost up our manpower modifier, although I think we're still just at the base amount. So there's that. Hilarious. Cannon fodder. It appears our country is getting rather empty and lacking in a very important resource. Cannon fodder. Fear not. While we may lack this resource, and one of our subjects have plenty of fresh meat for the battlefields. Should we force their servitude, they would be less than pleased, but such is the way of things. So, honestly, 340 manpower is going to be very helpful for us. They're not going to be happy about it, but we're going to take it. We need the short-term gains at this point. So these guys, they're not happy, but, you know, it is what it is. They'll get over it. Okay, that should, I believe, be the end of the religious wars, correct? Let's go into stability. We're not in the Peasants' War either, so that's good. Ends when... Yeah, so I think we're going to have that end on this month tick here. Maybe not. Ends when one of the following must be true. No owned province, religion in Romania is Hellenic, does not have the active province modifier abstaining. Okay. All of the following must be true, I think. Yeah, abstaining from the conflict, right. All of the following must be true. Stability of at least 1, have religious unity of at least 100%, and all of the following must be true. Stability of at least 3, and religious unity of at least 50%. So one of the following must be true. Okay, and it has to have... Oh, I see what it's saying. So this will end in about 150 days. Because it needs to last for 1095 days. It's lasted for 954. Okay, sounds good. So we're good to go on that then. So do we want to lose the stability or government reform progress? That's painful. I'm going to lose the stability. We'll sit at -1 stability for right now. We can grab ourselves a diptech, which we will happily do. And let's set an agenda here. So what do we got going on here? These guys need to boost up their opinion for sure. So what's their... Belisarius Valley. Where is this? Uh-huh. That's in this area. Where is the geographical map modes here? Let's look at the areas. Okay. So that would mean that we'd need to colonize here. Consider it done. We're going to take that. Excellent. Yeah, that seems great. So let's go back into this mode here. So we need to colonize here next. And this is wasteland up here, so that's absolutely fine. So how long until this is done? Well, it's going to be a little bit, and we can still only do 1 right now, right? Yeah, we still have the Brave New World modifier. That's almost gone. It's down to 25, so that's understood. The streets of the capital fall silent at last. Tentatively, our Basilius ventures through the palace's gates, flanked by members of the guard and their faithful dog. Around the Basilius, life seems to return at last. A sense of normalcy has fallen on the city once again, now that the opposing factions have finally been brought the heed and hostilities finally ceased. We can only hope that a lasting peace within our country has been formed, and that our people will relay that, okay, that, and brought the heed is strange too. The writing is kind of starting to fall off at this point, but I also feel like the unique story here is going to be coming to an end relatively soon, and it's mostly just going to be Europa fairly soon. We'll see. But yeah, that's definitely... It's definitely slipping a little bit. Under the one true faith for good. So this is going to give us a free stability. Loyalty to the Patriarch will be removed from Romania, and we're going to get faithful to St. Peter for 100 years, giving us missionary strength versus heathens plus 1.5%, 25% missionary maintenance cost reduction, and 10% Clericoi influence. Okay. Beautiful. So that's great. Local settler increase down over here too, so we're now at 90 per year. So that means that this is going to be done relatively soon. That's great. Now we do have another looming disaster here, and that is the dominance of the clergy and the peasants' war. So the clergy are currently at 100% influence. The actual percentage here, this is currently capped at 100%, I think. What's the actual influence? So 10 plus 19.2 plus 5 plus 5 plus 10 plus 5 plus 5 plus 3.9 plus 10 plus 10 plus 5 plus 20 plus, or actually minus 5. So it's 103.1. This is something we don't necessarily need to be worried about. Reason being, we are going to have that go away fairly soon. So I'm not too concerned about this. This is not a major deal as of right now. So we'll let that continue. That seems okay. Our war exhaustion is high, but that is net downward at this point. The main problem that we've got at this moment is the Peasants' War. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut our army maintenance down to nil. Zilch. Nothing. And we're going to start building up manpower here. Yes, we need a lot to reinforce our army. That's absolutely true. But we need to get our manpower built up, and this is going to take quite a long time to do. So that's understood. We can sell titles. We don't want to do this. This is a bad idea. So right now what I'm wondering is, what would it look like if we were to build any churches? Eros would be a good place to do that. So as soon as we have enough, we will definitely do that. We're not going to have that for a little bit. And our coring up here in Pythagora... Pythagora? Pythagora? One of those. Something along those lines. That's going to be finishing fairly soon. So that's all looking good. At this point, we are growing this colony. We can build a province improvement, and we are absolutely going to do so. So we're going to get that construction going down here. That'll boost our income up. So the question is, how long do we have here? Well, that's all a bit spooky for sure, but mostly this is because our stability is less than 1. I think we should just boost our stability then, to be honest. Okay, so this is now at 0 progress. Dominance of the clergy is also at 0 right now. Okay, so that's not a major concern. For right now, we need to be building up our manpower, and we're absolutely going to continue to do that. Now, I want to check in on how we're doing on our administrative burden. It is net negative at this time, and it's going to continue to be net negative. So that looks good. We're going to get an admin tech relatively soon, but we do need Renaissance to actually be spread here. We can embrace this if we get enough money. And we should absolutely do that. How's that spread going? It's fairly slow out over this direction. Understood. This is now cored, and we can start converting that, which we should absolutely do. We have a rebel uprise of Albanian separatists down over this way. And I'm going to boost their autonomy, I think. We'll let that tick down. For the moment, this will be fine. That'll just buy us some time here. Okay. Mostly, it's war exhaustion and religious unity. That's the core issue, right? We can make a state up over here, and we will definitely do so. So that's great. We can now make this be a full core, which we will do. And how are we doing here now? 874, 907. We're about a year away, in theory, from getting this finished. Okay, liturgical reform again. So the core issue with liturgical reform at this point is that their influence is rough. We're going to hold true to the old ways for right now. So that is absolutely fine for the moment. Okay, so we're at 1350 manpower. We're going to be at about half of our manpower soon. So that will mean that the peasant war will be stopped rather than just halted. Ooh, what's going on here? Do we want to force the Emperor to pay 18.24 ducats? The answer is yes. We want to do this. So we're going to do that right now, and we do have an angry estate. That's understood. Their equilibrium is 49.7, which means we actually have to grant them something here, which I don't want to grant them any crown land. Private trade fleets. That's the way to go for now. Okay, so 53, this is 55, and this is 43. Gotcha. So that looks good. We can sell titles. We're not going to do that. That is absolutely not happening. I don't think we need to bolster the colonial office at this moment. What we need to do is we need to embrace Renaissance, which we can't do right now. Probably because we cored this. It's going to cost a little bit more. So that's understood and is completely and totally fine. We're going to be finishing up the colony down over here very soon, but we're also going to have the gold soon. We can grab ourselves this admin tech, which will give us production efficiency and an idea group, which will be absolutely wonderful. And what do we want to get out of this idea group? I think our biggest lack right now is manpower. Well, this is different. We're forced to take development ideas. Okay. So that's an admin group. Noted. So we're forced to take that for now. There's no other option. That's understood. So we're at 1650 manpower right now. We are going to be very close to making the peasant war go away. So that's absolutely fine. Can be stopped by manpower level of at least 50%. Now we can embrace Renaissance, which we will absolutely do. Renaissance is now embraced. So that's perfect. That will cut our costs somewhat. And we can enact a government reform. So this is a bureaucratic reform. Centralizing a state will refund 50% of its costs. Global prosperity growth. Okay, cool. Minimum autonomy in territories and max promoted cultures. That's neat. I kind of want to go for the decentralized bureaucracy here. Because that's pretty useful. We'll take that. So that sounds good for now. And then the question is, yeah, these guys are still an influence of 100%, apparently. But let's see what we've got going on here. So, yeah, so dominance of the clergy, this is not going up because their loyalty is really, 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 really high, right? So that's understood. However, we definitely need them to have their influence level drop. That will happen eventually, but we're also going to need to claim some land from them. Okay, so this colony is now self-sustaining. That's excellent. And we're now at low crown rent. And we're going to absolutely want to do this, but we can't do this for a few months. We know that we need to come up here and colonize. So we'll get that going. That's the next location that we have to colonize according to our missions. And we can make this be a full core. There we go. Absolutely wonderful. So we're currently at 2,000 manpower. So the peasant war is done. What that means, of course, is that we want to be doing this. Now, we can only do this so long. So let's actually be sitting at somewhere around here for the army maintenance. So we're going to be replenishing our forces here. Oh, the Albanians have just expanded on their own. This is not a colony. This is a full-on thing. Okay, a full-on city. I like it. This year looks to be such a prosperous year that several of Basilius Constantinos XI's advisors have suggested that, as a gesture of goodwill, he should celebrate by arranging various festivities for the locals, so we could gain a base tax or a stability. Okay, so here's the thing. A base tax in Pythagora would, in theory, be worth 64 administrative power, right? And a stability would, in theory, be worth 197. So by that argument, the stability is the better option. However, stability is not a long-term thing. I think we're going to take the base tax. In the long run, that will mean more for us. So we're going to take that. Excellent. The Albanian populace has expanded their zone of control to include another province. The province was previously empty, so no harm was done to our nation. The natives do not complain either. The Albanians simply settle, fortify, and isolate themselves as much as possible, keeping into account the lands used by the natives. They breed like rabbits, but then again, so do we, as we all must in this savage new world. They always just do as they please. Okay, so that now has an Albanian majority. Okay, So that's probably going to be an issue later on. But we can make a state down over here, which we probably should do. And there's also a rebel uprising brewing up. Okay. So we're going to deal with that. The real question is, do we want to boost up our army maintenance and go negative financially while we're replenishing our forces? The answer to that is, how long is this going to take? 460 troops a month? So it's going to take about 4 months. We can't really afford that. So we're going to sit about here. And that'll at least allow us to majoritively regenerate up here. But we knew that these separatists were coming, so we're then going to head up over this direction. Okay, so now we want this battle to occur on the 2nd of August. Okay, 3rd is fine. So we're going to head up here. We're going to get a morale bump. They're probably going to get separatism there. Yeah, that's understood. And then we're going to defeat these separatists. There we go. We'll cap this back, and we should definitely be coring here. We're going to need to then drop our army maintenance back down to about here. We don't want to go into debt, so we're going to do something like this. Okay, we can seize land, and the Emperor would definitely be a problem if we did this right now. So we could seize from the Barbaroi, who controls 0.9% of the land. I don't think there's a point in doing that, to be honest. Are we net negative on our manpower? Yes. Okay, that's good. So we've now used up all of our manpower here. That means that we can sit at full army maintenance. And then we're going to be in a position where we could potentially fight the Emperor if we wanted to. Or we could just wait for them to come back up. That's the other option here. So how much land do the Clergy have right now? 19.2%. We definitely need to seize land from them. What if we made the Emperor, at least for now, exempt from... Where is it? It's going to be in here somewhere. Exempt from seize land. It would be a temporary thing. We'd want to revoke that. Well, they're going to gain a bunch of loyalty as it is, right? When we complete this, they're going to gain 10 loyalty. So that's noted, but we need to complete the colony up here first. And it's fairly early on at this point. We're about 20% done with it. I think we'll leave it be for the time being. We will seize this land back eventually. The core issue right now is the Clergy are going to eventually go down in their opinion, right? We need to get their overall influence level down. That's for sure. So that's understood, and we will definitely work on that. Seizing back Crownland is the way to go from here. That is the route forward. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to continue to work on getting all of this done and get the Emperor up to somewhere around 50, ideally. That's where they need to be. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Andy McGard, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.